Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are you all doing? Lots and lots to discuss tonight. We'll be talking about Fred, about Wilshere, about Lukaku, about Martial, about Lingard, about Rashford and about Milinkovic-Savic. As per usual, there's a little bit of an update on him as well. But let's start off with, this has been reported by Sky Sports that Fred will officially be announced tomorrow. It's a little bit like wrapping up your own Christmas presents on Christmas Eve and then opening them up and being all surprised, isn't it? Because we know Fred's coming to Manchester United. We've known about it for a long, long time. We've just been awaiting for the official announcement, which is apparently due to international clearance and a work permit. But it'd be nice for it to just be official and done and we can move away and we can park it, because he is an important signing for us. I really hope he gets some game time for Brazil, because they seem to lack a bit of drive in their midfield, and I think he could bring some of that. So maybe we'll get to see him playing on Friday for Brazil. But get the deal over the line and done, whether it's tomorrow or whether it's the day after. Absolutely happy with that. But we can talk about Fred in a moment. I want to talk about Jack Wilshere, who I don't believe will come to Manchester United anyway, but I'm absolutely stunned by the amount of people who are going, I'll take him. They're not. We have got London fans. I don't know why I did the Cockney thing there. I'll take him at Manchester United. I like Jack Wilshere at Manchester United. Oh, as a backup, he'd be brilliant. Yeah, he's free. I'd love Jack Wilshere at Manchester United. Well, no. I don't want Jack Wilshere at Manchester United. This is a bloke who's just come out and said he wants to stay at Arsenal, but he's been told that they can't give him game time. Why are we taking somebody who's a reserve for a sixth place club at our club? No, it makes no sense. If he's not good enough for Emery, why is he good enough for Manchester United? Also, he's injury prone. Why do we want somebody who's injury prone? Phil Jones we've got already. Our physios are already overworked without bringing Jack Wilshere to the club. No. And actually, I don't think he's that much of a good player. He lives off that goal he scored against Norwich. I mean, he isn't that good. He's not what Manchester United need. He's not better than Herrera. He's not better than McTominay. Technically he probably is better than McTominay, but potentially he's not. And actually, we've got somebody who I want to see playing. His name's Andreas Pereira. He came through the youth setup. He's been on loan, and I think technically he's a better player than Jack Wilshere. I don't want Jack Wilshere at Manchester United. If people in the live comments want to tell me why they do want him, I'm more than happy to read it out, because it is a fan channel at the end of the day. But I'm very, very surprised about it. And I think the saddest thing about it all is if you take Jack Wilshere out of it, it's a bit like VAR. I'm dead against VAR. Don't like it. Think it takes the passion out of football, the debate out of football. Maybe I'm a little bit old school with that. But I'm definitely old school on this. I don't get why United fans want... I understand Alexis Sanchez and Van Persie because they're not Arsenal through and through. They played for Arsenal, but they're not Arsenal through and through. Jack Wilshere's been at Arsenal since he was like 7. He is Mr. Arsenal. He loves Arsenal. Yet United fans are saying, yeah, we'll take him. Oh, I'll bring him to Manchester United. I love him at Manchester United. He's Mr. Arsenal. What's happened to rivalry? What's happened to... the next thing, people will want Mo Salah at Old Trafford. I don't care if he's the best player in the world, which he's not, but I wouldn't want him at Manchester United because he's played for Liverpool. I think that's really sad that that's dying out, actually. This rivalry thing is disappearing. The start of the video last night, I went, he's going home, Salah's going home. There's people in the live comments calling me disrespectful who are apparently Manchester United fans. Cop on, get a life. Do you not understand what rivalry is? Rivalry isn't vicious, by the way. Rivalry is banter. Rivalry is 100% about riling and bantering up your rival. It's not about... I've got mates who are Liverpool fans. I text them all the time. I don't want to smash their head in or anything like that. It's not about violence or anything like that. It's about rivalry. I don't want Liverpool to do well. I don't want any of their players to ever pull on a Manchester United shirt. I don't like it. Michael Owen was difficult enough, and that was indirect, but... so that's another reason why I wouldn't want Jack Wilshere anywhere near our club. This is an interesting comment from Akil Suresh, because in fairness, I've seen this a lot. He says, forget rivalry, he's better than Fellaini. What's that got to do with the price of bread? Jack Wilshere's not a replacement for Marouane Fellaini. He's half the size for a start. Fellaini is in Manchester United's team because Mourinho loves height. He's not going to replace Fellaini with Jack Wilshere. That's not going to happen. The whole he's better than Fellaini thing is redundant. It really is. It's like saying my roof's better than my garden. They're nothing to do with each other. They're part of the same property, but they're not to do with each other. Fellaini is not being replaced by Wilshere. I don't understand that argument. I'd rather get rid of Fellaini and have Wilshere. Well, that's totally and utterly irrelevant point, because that's not how Mourinho's mind works, even if yours does. And actually, we're still taking an injury-prone player who loves Arsenal, who they don't want, who actually isn't that good. That's the bottom line. He went on loan to Bournemouth and did okay the season before last. And he's been a sporadic player for Arsenal in his whole career. Why is he suitable for United? I think I almost feel sorry for what's happened to us over the last 5 years. I think many fans still remember what United's all about, winning titles, and they should be challenging for it. But I think some fans over the last 5 years have understandably fell into this groove of failure, and with that, standards have dropped. Some of the players I see fans talking about, I'm like, what? Are you serious? And Jack Wilshere falls into that trap. What? Why? Why would Manchester United ever need to get Jack Wilshere? He plays for a rival. He's injury prone. The only thing I can think of is free. Well, as I've said so many times, why are we interested in free? We're the richest club in the world. We don't need free. Go and spend some bloody money. If you want Jack Wilshere, sign Verratti. He's the same player, but 10 times better. Why would you want the BTEC version when you can get the degree? Get Verratti, if that's the player we want. But I don't think we'll be going for Jack Wilshere anyway, thank God, because he's too small. And we've already got Fred for that role. And I don't think Mourinho is going to change his whole mentality around that. So that's a positive for me. From one rant to another, I want to talk about Eden Hazard, the little plonker. He's come out and said that I had to have a word with Romelu Lukaku at half-time against Panama because he was going hiding. What? Like you went hiding for 9 months last season for Chelsea? You cretin. I mean, come on. I mean, Lukaku, I spoke about him last night. He needs service. And he needs service. He needs service. Lukaku is not a player that's going to go hiding. That's not what he's all about. He's not about that. He needs service. And Hazard, it's his responsibility to provide that. So I found that really, really funny from Hazard, who's his own biggest fan. But also wanted to talk about the Lingard and Rashford thing. Very impressive for England, both players. But it dropped into my head, and I don't know what a lot of you think about this, but are we falling into the World Cup trap a little bit here? It's a football festival, as I've said. It's only here every 4 years. A lot of people are enjoying it, apart from today's fixtures, which were rubbish. But we're all loving the World Cup. And I think because we're loving the World Cup, we're clutching at straws like, oh, look at him. Oh, look at him. Like, Lingard was brilliant in the first half against Tunisia. And I've seen some United fans saying, oh, look at Lingard. He's improved so much. Wrong. You're wrong. He hasn't improved so much. He's playing in a crap tournament. That's what's happening. And Rashford, when he comes on, looks nothing like the Rashford of last season. And people start going, look what happens with Rashford when the reins are let loose. It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. Rashford's come on plenty of times in the last 20 minutes for United and done next to nothing. And it's nothing to do with Mourinho playing him centre-back. He puts him up front. He puts him on the wing. The reality is, and I've said it a million times, the World Cup is a brilliant, brilliant tournament to watch. It's very entertaining, but part of its entertainment comes from the fact that you're chucking a load of players together who don't play together with a manager that doesn't manage them for anything longer than a couple of weeks every few months. And it's a free-for-all. There's no real understanding of tactics. There's no real flow. And the quality's not that great. So I predicted before the World Cup, Lingard will have a good tournament. I think Rashford will have a good tournament. And that's brilliant from a Manchester United point of view. But it's a big leap of faith from having a decent World Cup to saying they're good enough for us to win as a title. No. You watch what happens next season when Klopp gets his men back and Pep gets his men back and Pochettino gets his men back. And they get pumped week in, week out, day in, day out with the system and the way to play. And then our players come back to Mourinho and, well, let's assume we do what we did last season, which I don't think we will, and they get playing in this certain way as well. Spurs would batter England. Liverpool would batter England because you cannot underestimate how toned and how much better a team is that trains every day together, plays 2 or 3 games a week together compared to England or Brazil or anybody who just get thrown together. So the World Cup is a brilliant, brilliant tournament to watch and I'm loving it. But let's not get running away with ourselves thinking that we're reinventing the wheel with people like Jesse Lingard and stuff like that. For me, I want him at Manchester United. He's a really important player. But he's a squad player for United. Unless something amazing happens for him next season, I judge him on what he does in a United shirt in the Premier League and the Champions League. That's where you become a great player. The World Cup, I don't. It's not something that makes me suddenly think, oh, he's got to play every week for United. But maybe people disagree with that. Gazel Cesar disagrees with it. He says Rashford will be excellent once Jose goes. I just don't think everything is on Mourinho. I think Mourinho will say Rashford's played more minutes than anybody under me last season. I will say, how many games did he start, Jose, up front? Most of his minutes were on the left wing or coming off the bench. But Rashford was given opportunities last year and something went wrong. And it's easy to blame Mourinho, and maybe it's right to blame him, but I also think there's something on the player as well. And also, I think, Lingard, Rashford, Martial and Pogba all suffered because of Alexis Sanchez. I think up until January, Lingard never gets mentioned about Alexis Sanchez. Lingard, to be honest with you, Lingard over Christmas and January was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then he went to being, from end of January to the end of the season, he was pretty average. Where were the great individual goals? He put in a few okay performances, but there was no stunning performances like over Christmas. Is that a coincidence that happened and coincided with the signing of Sanchez? Is it a coincidence that Rashford's form went through the floor when Sanchez came? Is it a coincidence that Pogba's form went through the floor when Sanchez came? We already, Martial's the one who gets, and even his agent said that signing destroyed Martial, but I think it didn't help Lingard or Rashford or Pogba either. So, that is, United have got their problems. They need to sort them out this summer, but it's interesting to see what's going to happen. I want to mention Milinkovic-Savic here anyway, because this is sort of something that I've said to you a few times. I normally say it on the Transfer Daily show, but this is a prime example of what I've been trying to say, and I've been waiting for a story to do it on. So what I said is that a lot of the transfer news that we talk about on Transfer Daily is not English-based. It's not from the English press. It can be from Italy, it can be from South America, it can be from Spain. It's not hard to get that information. It's out there. And, watch Transfer Daily every morning at 7 a.m. because we'll give you the news. But this was prime example, because I'd said this. I'd said that Fardine, let us know what it is you want us to tell us. There's no point me looking at it when I'm live. I'd said that the amazing thing about the English press is you'll sometimes know something 3 days, and then 3 days later, it's like in the Manchester Evening News or the Sun, and you think, oh, is that a news story? Because I knew about that 3 days ago. And this happened tonight. Manchester Evening News came out with the story about Milinkovic-Savic's dad saying that he wants him to stay at Juventus, quoting Tuttosport. And this was in the Manchester Evening News this afternoon. We were speaking about this 3 days ago because I'd read the Tuttosport article. And this is the problem. You get news in this. Not all. Sometimes Manchester Evening News was very good about Dalot, very good about Fred, but they get stories like 3 days later and chuck it out as a headline, and you've already read it through the international press 3 days before. I'm only bringing that in because it's something I'd wanted to mention to you all. Because it does happen quite a lot. Okay, let me just get rid of him. I was going to read your comment out, mate. So if it had been a nicer comment, I would have read it, but it's not, and you won't be commenting again. What's going on, peeps? Says Mr. Exclusive. Who cares about Jack? Let's move on, says Moshin. Rashford is about trust, confidence and freedom. Mourinho tears players down, says Paul Taylor. I would take Wilshere on a free at United, says Curless 87. I wonder if he's just doing that for the laugh, or if he actually is part of this. But I'd love to have you on the show, mate. I'd love to ring you in and now and say, why are Manchester United fans talking about free? What has free got to do with anything? We're not Stoke City. We're Manchester United. We're loaded. Why is free even entering the mind of a Manchester United fan? Why does that matter? Why does 100 million matter? Why does free matter? You should never... And also, it's worse. 100 million, whatever. But that is worse as a United fan, that you are putting free into the equation, because you are actually saying, I wouldn't want to pay 30 million for him, but because he's free, let's take him. Which is a massive red flag that they're not good enough. The fact that people are putting free into it means that player's not good enough, because you're using free as a reason to take him, which means he's damaged goods. And Jack Wilshere is damaged goods. He is reject. Arsenal don't want him. He's damaged goods. He's admitted it himself. Jeff, Carr, Ming, Tam says we will never win the league with Lingard, Mata starting as a right wing for us, just like Young is our starting left back. That's the area we should prioritise. Yeah, it's interesting, Jeff. I've said that before. I said it at the start of last season. I said, if Fellaini and Lingard play more than 30 games this season, we won't win the league. I don't know how many games they played, but we didn't win the league. And I have said, and I will say again, if Ashley Young's our starting left back, we're not winning the league. I wouldn't actually go as far to say it about Lingard, because where Lingard was at the start of last season to where he is now, he has improved a hell of a lot, and I would agree with that. I still don't think he's a starter, but he's an important squad player. And what I like about Lingard are the runs he makes, and the runs he makes into the box off the ball. I think he's a brilliant last 20 minute option for a top 4 side. I don't think he's a starter for a top 4 side. I think he starts every week for Everton, but I don't think he's a starter for a top 4 side. But I think what he is a brilliant last 20 minute option, because the runs he makes against tired opposition is great. Unfortunately, he's not a Jose Mourinho last 20 minute option, because Jose Mourinho's last 20 minute option is a defender or a tall player to put long balls in the box. So I think Lingard's always going to be a starter under Jose, to be honest with you. Okay, Anthony Martial has apparently been liking Manchester United related posts on Instagram. That means he's staying. The Martial situation is very interesting. It was a week ago that we had his agent coming out saying, in fact it was exactly a week ago, we had his agent coming out saying that he wants to leave Manchester United. It's gone very quiet since then. Jose Mourinho, I spoke about him last night. He's been doing a bit of Russian commentary. Apparently he's only doing 5 days. He's coming back, and then he's going back out to Russia to do the semi-final and the final, which is good of Manchester United to give him that time off, because that is in the middle of July. But I suspect Martial will be back. Obviously, he's not part of the World Cup, so he's going to be back at Old Trafford very soon for training, pre-season. Alexis Sanchez is apparently already back, and Mourinho will be back soon. So the Martial situation is going to escalate very, very quickly. We are in a World Cup bubble at the moment, and I feel like the air is falling out of that bubble very, very, very fast. I think the first week of the World Cup was always going to grab everyone's attention, but it's already starting to lose a bit of air, because you can't live in a bubble forever. And the World Cup is a great tournament, but as the games become, more spread out, people's mind will wander back to their clubs. And Arsenal have already started doing business. City are going to sign Jorginho very soon. And Chelsea are about to get a new manager. They're going to start doing business. United are going to need to start doing things. And it's not all about people coming in the door, is it? It's people coming out the door. So I think those are things that Manchester United are going to be looking at very, very, very sure. Man United Army says, screw Savic, it's all about Ronaldo. If we could get Ronaldo at United, I'd do it. I mean, I can't understand why people wouldn't want it to be done, but I also cannot understand for the life of me why Real Madrid would want to let him go. I don't see it happening. Gareth Bale, again, I've probably swung more to that's likely to happen. Lovely. What's happening with Fred? Says Elliot Hobday. Well, so, going back to the start of the video, Fred's about to sign for Manchester United in the next 48 hours, apparently. Tomorrow has been mentioned, so we may have an official Fred the Red video, which I think this is the thing. We've already done the video for Fred signing. It's really weird, because Manchester United said they'd agreed a deal. It's just not official because they're waiting for the work permit, which is apparently going to happen tomorrow. As I said before, it really is a weird situation. It's like, well, we're waiting for the official thing, but we know he's definitely going to come. So it's funny. And Ndombele would be a very good signing, says Alfred Taylor. Spurs are linked with him. He looks like a good player, but I don't think we're in for him at all. Maybe it could be a bit of a Willian where Spurs want him and we nip in and get him. I'd certainly take him. In relation to Milinkovic-Savic, I don't think we're going to do the deal. I really enjoyed watching him in their game at the weekend. I've enjoyed watching him at Lazio, and I did say at the start of the summer that he defines our summer, because he's exactly the sort of player we want, because the fusion of Milinkovic-Savic is brilliant. He's got everything I want and you want in a player. He's quick on the ball, his touch is good, he can finish, he can create, he can dribble. But then, not only does he tick all the fan boxes, for Mourinho, he ticks all the, I can hoof the ball up to him, he can stand in front of the defence, he can defend corners, he's tall. He ticks every box. He's the perfect Mourinho and United fan player. And I was like, this is perfect for us. But I don't think we're going to get him. I don't. I think he's going to go to Real Madrid. I don't even know if we're in for him, but he would be perfect. But we desperately need another midfielder, and we still need a left back. And I still keep hearing we're not going to get a left back. We're going to make do. We're going to make do with 33-year-old right winger Ashley Young and Luke Shaw, who you've slagged off for the last 18 months, and Dalot, who's 19 and is a right-footed left back. I mean, we need to sign a left back. I'll keep believing until we don't. Manchester United Army says Juventus can't afford Sanchez, Savic, Real or probably Hazard. We might have a chance. Depends how much Real Madrid are going to spend. It depends how much Real Madrid are going to generate. And Eden Hazard probably wants to leave, but if Eden Hazard goes to Real Madrid, they've got a Spanish manager who likes Asensio and Isco. Who are they? I don't see Hazard going to Real Madrid. I don't. I think Real Madrid will spend big on Milinkovic-Savic. Is Mata 32, Paul? I didn't realise he was 32. I thought he was about 30 now. If that kid Dalot plays as a left back, we're screwed, Ahmed. I'm fed up of right-footed players. I don't really like inverted wingers, but I can understand it. But you cannot have fullbacks who are not naturally left-footed left backs or right-footed right backs. It doesn't work, because it works as an inverted player because you can cut inside and you whip across in. But the reason you have a left-footed left back and a right-footed right back is to provide balance, to keep wide and keep the pitch wide. And also, the most important reason you have a left-footed left back and a right-footed right back is because you defend the opposition better. You show them down the outside or down the inside from a position of strength, because your left side is your strong side. If you're Ashley Young and you're right-footed playing at left back, your weak side is the wing that they're playing on, and you leave that wing totally exposed. That's why I don't care how good Dalot's going to be, and I think he will be a good signing, but you've got to have a left-footed left back. And there's very, very few teams that do it. Matters 30 this year, says Deanside. And James Carter makes a very good point. He says if you're going to have inverted wingers, there's more need for a natural left back. Exactly. So we have an inverted left winger in Sanchez, and then we have an inverted fullback, which means naturally down the left-hand side, we're rubbish. How can you overhype Ronaldo, says Paul Bradley. I don't know. I think it's impossible to overhype Ronaldo. But it's interesting with Ronaldo that some people have said that, Messi's better than Ronaldo. And I don't really want to do that debate on a United Stand show, but we are moving towards the end of the video, I suppose. The reason I prefer Ronaldo is results. You can put whatever shirt you want on Ronaldo and he will produce results. Ronaldo can have a bad game, but he'll still score a goal. Like today, didn't play very well, still scored the goal, a winner. You take Messi out of a Barcelona shirt and he doesn't get results. Alright, he might take him to the final, but did he win the final? Ronaldo gets you results. He's done it in United shirts, Portugal shirts, Real Madrid shirts. He gets you results. Messi's the better talent, but he gets you results, but not consistently. And a better example of that is the better player isn't always the better legend, I suppose, because you look at Ravel Morrison, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba. The best talent was Ravel Morrison. Who's getting the most results? Pogba's better than Lingard, but Lingard at the moment is getting better results. He's had a better season for United. He's having a better World Cup than Pogba. So it's not always about talent. Talent's great, but talent without results is wasted talent. And Messi's not a wasted talent, I must just say. He's not a wasted talent. But I'll take Ronaldo every day of the week, because what Ronaldo has that Messi doesn't quite have is the absolute desire and perseverance to win no matter what. I just prefer Ronaldo. But it's always been an interesting debate. Joshua says, what about Philip Max from Augsburg as a left back? Look, I'll take a left back. I'll take any left back. I think it's really, really important to Manchester United that we do get a deal done very soon for a left back, because I think a lot of United fans are saying what I've said and a lot of you have said. We just cannot cannot win the title with Ashley Young as a left back. It's impossible. It's such a weak spot. And it's not reactionary. It's not sensationalist. If you watch United every game last season like I did and many of you did, it's all right. And people will say, well, he put Salah in his pocket. Yeah, he did. He did. He was brilliant that game. But we played very deep. We played very narrow. And it wasn't like Ashley Young was told to everyone, we're going to go gung-ho and you've got to look after Salah. It was a defensive effort and Ashley Young played well. But did he put Mahrez in his pocket at Old Trafford? Did he put Tadic in his pocket against Southampton? No. Did he put... there's been loads of teams that have come to Old Trafford and torn him apart. And that's the problem with Ashley Young. When is the transfer window going to open up for Manchester United again? Look, we have got 2 players in. It is relatively early days and we do need to do a little bit better. But at the moment, it's going okay. And we do need to get things done. I mean, it's Wednesday today and apparently United were having a meeting about Darmian. We've not heard anything. Doesn't mean the meeting didn't take place. Lewis Watson, I've got one question this evening. When is Fellaini leaving our club? If I could answer that, I'd love to be able to send you to bed saying, it's going to happen. But the reality is I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. And I still stand by the theory I said a week ago that if he was going elsewhere, why isn't he signed for elsewhere? He's going into a World Cup where he's playing football and he could twist his knee, he could break his leg, and he's not signed a deal with anybody. To me, that suggests he's going to sign a new deal at United, because if he twists his knee, where's he going? He'd have to sign the contract with United. If he genuinely was going elsewhere, he would have signed a contract already. So I think he's staying at United. I fear he's staying at United. Please do drop a like on the video. We've obviously moved the United stands from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock for the next couple of weeks, with the World Cup 7 o'clock kickoffs falling smack in the middle of when we'd normally be live. So please do drop a like on the video, and remember we're live at 9 o'clock every night at the moment for the next 2 weeks. So the United stand's not going anywhere. We're still live at 9 o'clock, and we've still got Transfer Daily going up at 7 a.m. every morning as well. So still got the content for you, and obviously we will react to any news that goes on, of which there is news out there. You've just got to go and find it, like I say, and we'll always deliver you the latest news on the United stand and debate you with it as well. Kieran Burns says the United stand's doing well to compete with Love Island. Yeah, I think we normally get about 2,500 people watching, so maybe 500 people are watching Love Island, which I think, actually, if you put in Love Island before football, it's a little bit questionable, but it's up for you. Cavani for United, says Lawrence Law. I've never been impressed by Cavani. For anybody who's watched the United stand over the last 3 years, you'll know I've consistently said I don't rate Cavani. I've never rated him. And I know he's like PSG's all-time goal scorer, but I don't rate Cavani. And I wouldn't want him at United. I think he's a bit slow as well. Look, I think Lukaku absolutely is way better than him. So, and would he want... Cavani's not coming to United anyway. He wouldn't want to be a backup striker, so it wouldn't happen. Jamie Hugh on that point says, who do you believe would be the best attacking signing for us? Well, let us know in the live comments. I mean, for me, I just think the backup striker needs to be somebody who offers something a little bit different. As I said this morning or last night, I'd be looking for Mertens from Napoli, or even Javier Hernandez from West Ham. Just something to offer something a little bit different. I mean, realistically, when United are bringing a striker on, it shouldn't be like for like anyway. If we're bringing another striker on, it should be to try and score a goal, like Sir Alex Ferguson did. So you'd keep Lukaku on, and you chuck another striker on. And if you're keeping Lukaku on, you need a different striker. So Lukaku's big and powerful, and you chuck someone like Hernandez or Mertens on, who are a little bit smaller, a little bit more of a fox in the box. That's what I think we should do, because Rashford's sort of a hybrid of them both, isn't he? He's sort of a little bit like Lukaku because he's a bit big and powerful, but not as big and powerful. And he's a little bit like a Hernandez, but he's not as good in his finishing. So I think somebody who's just a born finisher would be great. Right, anyway, we're losing viewers. People have obviously let people... Emil Heskey says Kevin Ashford. Nice to have Kev on the stream. Matthew McFadden says every PSG player highlight video on YouTube is just a Cavani sitter montage. stat pads in a subpar league. And that's a really good point. Thanks for the contribution, Matthew. I said this about Zlatan. I was a very big fan of Zlatan, but he was stat padding in PSG. If Ronaldo goes to PSG, he's just going there to stat pad. Neymar's there stat padding. It's a crap league. It really is a crap league, and they won't win the Champions League. But no, I wouldn't want Cavani nowhere near us at all. Anyway, Ashwin says Rashford is our backup striker. I don't think he offers I think we need 3. I mean, we used to have 4. We used to have 4 strikers. So I think we need 3 at least. Any news on Jerome Boateng? Joshua, I'm going to have a look at that. Probably talk about him on Transfer Daily tomorrow morning, to be honest. But I haven't heard anything at the moment. And recap, please, says Christian Barbst. So Fred's apparently going to be official tomorrow. As I said, it's a bit like wrapping your Christmas presents up on Christmas Eve and then opening them up again, because we know he's official. We're just waiting for him to be official. We know we're signing him. Wilshere, don't want him. Why are people wanting Jack Wilshere just because he's free? Get Verratti if you want a player like that and spend the money that we earn as a club. We're loaded. And numerous other things mentioned. But I can't think to refresh them. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Remember, we're live at 9 o'clock every night. Please do drop a like on the video. Thanks everybody who's got involved today. And if you are joining me for the World Cup watch-alongs on That's Football, I am live again at 1 o'clock tomorrow with Australia-Denmark. They're really enjoying that as well. But would like something to kick in relation to Manchester United, because the World Cup's for 4 weeks. Manchester United's forever. So, you know, we want some stuff in relation to United. And as I said last night, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that this is a massive summer for us. Absolutely massive. And we're not coming from a position of strength. We got beaten in the FA Cup final. We were 20 points behind Man City in the league. There's a huge gap to break there. We need to get some players out the door, and we need to get more players in. And we need to start doing that soon. I'm not panicking yet, but we do need to do it. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll speak to you all tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning for Transfer Daily. 9 o'clock tomorrow night we'll be live. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening.